Hello there. I just feel like something flew out of my mouth and it could have been some sweet corn that I had in my stir fry. So I do apologise for that. Today I am supremely excited because we're going to be trying out the new Focallure Sweet as Honey palette. So this is what the palette looks like. It's like an ombre pink into peach. Inside we have a beautiful array of eyeshadows. There are 9 matte shadows and 9 shimmer shadows, but I believe that there is a slightly different formula to the shimmers, like they're not just standard shimmers, if that makes sense. So Focallure did very kindly send me this palette along with 3 of their other brand new palettes. How lucky am I right now? Can't tell you how grateful I am. And I do feel like it's really important that I just say that Focallure have reached out to me in the past and they've asked if, you know, I want them to send me some makeup. But they had a stipulation last time, which was I had to put their website link in the description and kind of like point people in the direction of their website. But then when I checked the website prices out, I was really kind of surprised by how much more expensive the products were on their official website as opposed to their official Focallure store on AliExpress. I didn't really feel comfortable pointing you guys or anyone in the direction of the website, which is going to be more expensive for you. So anyway, I rejected that. I said no thanks. But then they got in touch with me again after they just released all of these new palettes, and they were like, okay, we've sorted out the website prices, do you want to try Sweet as Honey palette? I said yes, and then they all turned up, the whole squad. And I was like, oh my gosh, like couldn't believe it. But I have checked their website since. Prices are still, I think, higher. So I would definitely recommend you purchase Focallure from AliExpress just because it is cheaper. There's free shipping. So I'm just like obviously going to keep it real with you and tell you like that's the situation. So anyway, over the next few days you will be seeing videos on the other 3 palettes, but today it's all about the Sweet as Honey palette. It should be called the Honey's palette, I feel, really. Also, just to let you know, this palette is £12.65 on AliExpress. That is with free shipping. It definitely is more expensive than their previous palettes. Usually Focallure palettes are around the £5 to £8 mark. So this one is like pretty much double the price of their usual palettes. The description on the back of this palette is, and I actually really like this description, like I find makeup descriptions can be a little bit ostentatious, a little bit OTT, a bit dramatic, a bit bullshitty. I actually read this and I really liked it. So it just says, a new take on neutrals featuring fresh picked shades of peachy pinks, corals, mauves, bronzes and pops of purple that will have you looking as sweet as honey. Isn't honey like a goldeny kind of shade? They didn't mention that, but anyway. Besides matte colour, there are always some incredible glitters you may have never seen before. Laser blue and green duochrome glitter with deep galaxy purple with pink luster light glitter and something that will make you wow. I mean, there is a slight bit of a issue with translation here. I just think, you know, they made the effort. Every shade in the new palette features our latest technology, the Ultra Micron base and the pigment infusion effect, the proprietary blend of ingredients that gives each shade its velvety texture, rich colour, serious staying power and blendability. Because with shades like these, you'll want to blend the perfect sunset eye. I thought this was a honey eye. What? Our formula makes it so easy to transition shades like a pro. So I feel like they put effort into the description. This also is cruelty free, which is fantastic. And I'm going to begin today with swatching the shadows, and then we're going to move straight on to me doing an eye look. This blue is definitely screeching out to my vagina. I'm not very comfortable working with blues, so I don't know. But anyway, guys, we're going to move on to the swatches. Okay, so we are just going to start with this shade here. It's called Turkish Rose, and I believe it's been in some of their other palettes. So, oh my gosh, excellent. Oh my gosh, I love this shade. It's so pretty. Watch that one there. Looks pretty good. Beautiful. Okay, so these are all of the mattes. I think there's a really good colour selection in terms of transition. I think you've got loads of different options because they are all quite neutral. I think the formula looks and feels quite promising, but of course it's really tough to judge from a swatch. Okay, so now we're going to get into my favourite part of any swatching session, and this is swatching the shimmers. I've been dying to dig my fingers up in here. What is she all about? Oh my gosh, she is called Misty Rose. Oh, she's a little bit chunky actually, guys. What? I mean, she looks very metallic and pretty, but she's a tad bit chunky. She reminds me a little bit of their pigments, but in like a slightly more pressed form. Oh my gosh. These are all 18 of the shades. You get 9 mattes and 9 of the shimmers. This one is like a black, but then it's got this kind of purple glitter to it. This one, which is, I mean, it kind of looks green now, but as I'm looking at it from like this angle, it looks more purple, but it looks very green in the camera, which is really bizarre. The shimmers, maybe like, they don't feel like they're as good in a way as the ones in the Twilight palette or the We Care Your Favours palette. They just don't seem like exactly the same amount of like wow. These are just like swatches, so I just think, you know, I expect a lot from Focallure because I really like Focallure. I've loved the products that they've released previous to this palette, and I just feel like at this point maybe not quite on the same level, which I could be wrong. I need to just get these up on my eyes and then we can properly judge. So today I'm going to begin with this shade here. It's called Rosy Brown and it looks like a kind of cool tone brown, but then it also looks like it has slightly purple lilac-y undertones. Go back in with a little bit more. Tap, tap, tap. So this palette does come with a mirror. I always forget to mention the mirror. I'm liking this shade. I think it's blending out really nicely so far. Okay, so there we go. I really like it. Okay, so next I have switched up my brush to a slightly less fluffy one, and I'm going to go in with a pale chestnut, which is, sorry, I don't feel like you're seeing the colours as they really are, but it's this one right here. It's kind of like a mauvey shade. This one is kicking off a lot more powder than the other shade we used. Okay, so I'm really liking that. So far, this palette is definitely turning out to be pretty good. Like, I'm really liking what's happening up on my eye. Okay, so next we're going to move into Turkish Rose. This is a beautiful kind of, it's kind of like a burgundy shade. Tap, tap, tap. Oh my god. Okay, and I'm just going to pop that a little bit lower down than I've put the other two eyeshadows. I feel like these are pretty pigmented. They're not the most pigmented eyeshadows in the world, but I think they're pretty good. Also, I don't know if I've just got higher expectations for this palette because it is like double the price of their other palettes that I've tried. So I think I'm kind of expecting a lot from it. Like, I really liked their previous formulas and they cost half the price. So I have very high expectations for this, you know what I mean? And so far, I mean, it definitely does seem to be matching the quality of their other palettes. I don't know why it's double the price. So like, I'm not really seeing anything so far that justifies why it's double the price of the other palettes, you know? Okay, so under my eye, I'm going to go in with a little bit of a mix of Turkish Rose that we've just used and Rosy Brown, which isn't really rosy brown at all. I'm using a very kind of densely packed, kind of firm little brush here because I feel like that gives you the most. It just gives you the most, I mean, really. Before we go in with the shimmer, I do just want to try and add a little bit of something, you know, to the outer vagina. Go in with a little bit of Myrtle, which is like the black shade. Myrtle makes me think of turtle, and turtles are green. So I'm thinking, why is like the black shade called Myrtle, which is essentially turtle? Everyone's going to read Myrtle as turtle, and we're thinking green, but no, it's black. This black does seem to be a little bit powdery. I feel really sick. I don't know why I feel sick. Okay, so I'm just editing the video, and it was at this point of filming that I started feeling overwhelmingly sick. When I say sick, I mean like I just felt like I was gonna throw up everywhere. You know when you start getting an excess amount of saliva in your mouth and you're just like, if I'm behaving a little bit strange for the rest of the video, that's why. I really was not feeling good, and I spent the rest of the day in between my bed and my toilet throwing up, literally. So I just wanted to say that at this point. Anyway, enjoy the rest of the video. Nothing to do with the palette. I don't know if my tea just made me feel sick. I had a stir fry before filming and I feel a bit sick. Okay, so that black seems to be really, really nice. It's not too bad. It's not the best. It's definitely not the best. I'm just going to clean my brush just to get rid of any black that's still on there. And then I'm just going to just blend a little bit. I just need to announce this. So today I used one of my favourite filming foundations. This is the Maybelline Superstay. And I don't know if it's to do with like the base that I've gone, but it just looks absolutely terrible right now. I just don't think the foundation worked for me. I'm not having a good face day today. Like, I'm never really having a good face day, but don't judge me based on my face base right now. Now time for the fun. Like, don't get me wrong, I love mattes and everything, but for me it's like the shimmers that I get really excited about. Kind of like the icing on the cake is really like where it's at for me. I think today I'm gonna go for the one that I'm most excited about, which seems to make sense. So it's this one here, which is called Hypnotism. I think it's a perfect name for this eyeshadow. It looks very airy. So this is like a black shade, but it's got like purple glitters in. I feel like these shimmers would apply best with a finger. So I am just gonna go in with my finger to begin with. This is, oh gosh, look at that, guys. Is that not just so seductive right now? Wow. Oh my gosh. Like, it's kind of a bit messy, like a lot messy to apply with your finger. Like, I think it looks really, really pretty. Although I am going to go in with a bit of Fix Plus on my brush, just because I feel like we can, you know, really take this eyeshadow to a whole other dimension. So I've got my Fix Plus brush. What's that? My brush is wet, and I'm just gonna apply a bit more. The only thing that I'm not really loving about this eyeshadow, and believe me, like, I am actually really loving it, I feel like when I'm looking like face on, it looks really beautiful because you can kind of see the smokiness from the black, but also the beautiful kind of shimmering purple glitters. I feel like when you're looking at it slightly from the side, I don't know if you can see what I mean, when you lose sight of these purple shimmering gems on my eyelid, it does look a little bit patchy potentially, you know, where you could just see the black. So I'm not quite sure like if I'm loving that, but I think overall this is a really beautiful eyeshadow. There's hardly any fallout, which is surprising for an eyeshadow of this magnitude. I do think it looks very grungy and very beautiful. I like it to a really interesting mix of colours in this palette as well. You've got some very like neutral, everyday, kind of wearable shades, but then you've also got these splashes of like vibrant, vampy, you know, going out to a gangbang, you know, kind of shades. I really like that mix, and I do think that it makes the palette extremely versatile, because you know, a lot of the time you'll get like a neutrals eyeshadow palette, a bold eyeshadow palette, a colourful eyeshadow palette. I like it all to be mixed. Like I like a bit of everything. And how often are you wearing like a super bold colourful transition shade and also a super bold shimmer shade? I mean, you might be wearing that like every single day, but for me, I tend to like more of a neutral, subtle transition, but then a pop of, you know, colour just exploding on my eyelid. I am as well going to just pop a little bit. This could be a mistake, but I'm going to just pop this under the eye as well. Pray for me. I'm an atheist. Pray to the god of vaginas. You know what I mean? I definitely put that a little bit lower than I meant to. So I feel like this eye is going to be like a very smoky eye now. It wasn't planning on being, but yes, I think that's the direction we are being called in right now. Just going to blend out that shimmer a little bit. I've just gone in with a little bit of Turkish Rose just to kind of soften the kind of what was a very harsh under eye kind of situation. That eye is done. I'm going to go ahead, I'm going to do the other eye, then I'll be back to give you my final kind of overview and thoughts on the palette. At this point, I'm just struggling to see the justification for it being double the price as their other palettes. Absolutely nothing to do with the palette, but I feel so sick right now. Like, so sick. I don't know how I'm going to even do the other eye because I feel so sick right now. Oh my gosh. Okay, so this is the final look. I actually really love this look. I think that this particular kind of shimmer is absolutely gorgeous, and it applied really beautifully for a shadow that has like micro glitters in it. There was minimal fallout, and it was just overall easy to apply. I've also had my eyeshadow over on this eye on for a good half an hour at this point because I literally started to feel so sick that I had to just go and have a lie down. Like, I've never had to do that in any like filming session. I've never had to just like go and have a lie down. Oh my gosh, like, I don't know what it was. I feel like the positive of me feeling sick was that it enabled me to kind of sit for a while with the eyeshadow on my eye, and you know, it felt really comfortable, and I feel like it's held up well. I actually really like the palette. I've obviously not tried a fraction of the shades that are in here, but every single shade that I've tried, I've really been impressed with. I would definitely recommend this palette to you, only if, and it's a big only if you are just kind of transfixed and deeply drawn to the shades within the palette. I can see that this palette, although it might really appeal to a lot of people, it might seem a little bit all over the place, you know, to some, you know, which is fine. But I would only recommend this palette if you really just love the actual, you know, look of it, the layout, the shades, just everything about it. If it makes your vagina tingle, I would say go for it. I don't think you'd be disappointed. However, and this is just something that I feel is really important to mention, in terms of the actual formula and the quality of the eyeshadows, I can't really see where the justification comes in for the palette being double the price of their other palettes. I don't think that the formula is improved or any better or different. Like, I don't think it's worse, but I don't think it's any better. So I don't know why it has to be more expensive. You know, one thing that I've always really loved Focallure for, one thing that I've really always admired Focallure for is how affordable their makeup is, but how good quality it is. And like, when you really think about it, £12 for an eyeshadow palette with 18 shades in, with, you know, that has a really good quality, then I don't think £12 is an astronomically, you know, unreasonable amount. I'm just kind of comparing this to their previous palettes, which is the only thing that I can do, really. I would definitely say it's on par with the quality of the previous palettes. I just wish it wasn't so expensive, because I know that there's a lot of people who are probably going to be quite put off by the price, and I think that that's a shame, because it is actually a really good palette. But obviously Focallure, they're a business, they have to make money, and maybe they just weren't making money before. So I mean, you could look at it that way, I suppose. I like the palette, but I don't understand why it's double the price. But then again, if all the other palettes that Focallure have made were £12, then like, I probably think that was quite an affordable price anyway, because this is a really good palette. You know, when you compare it to like Urban Decay, Lime Crime, I'm just looking at all my palettes now, BH Cosmetics, Gervais Place, I think it's a really good eyeshadow palette. So anyway, guys, I hope that this review has been somewhat helpful to you. I feel really bad for like the whole of the first half, because I just felt so sick, and I hope that you enjoyed the video. I really like the eye look that I've got going on right now. So yeah, anyway guys, I hope you enjoyed the video. Please subscribe if you're not subscribed, or if you are subscribed, then keep checking out my channel. I'm going to have reviews of the other 3 palettes that Focallure have released. What's interesting, like when I've had a bit of a look through these palettes, to me, like this one especially feels almost like it's a mini version of the Sweet as Honey palette. Because if you look at them kind of side by side, they've got the blue and the purple shimmers, and then the similar kind of neutral shades. So to me, I was thinking, is this like a little mini super cute version? Anyway, I will be showing you the other palettes in upcoming videos, which are going to be put up in the next few days. I hope that you're having a wonderful day, whatever you're doing, and I'll see you in the next video. Bye. I just thought this was hilarious. This is me removing the makeup. Well, obviously, like, this isn't me after 2 hours of wear. This is me removing my makeup. Look at me right now, guys. Look at this face. I just thought it was hilarious. Anyway, this is me. Should I go scare honeys and the boys? What do you think? I mean, I just don't look in a good way right now. But anyway, guys, I hope you enjoyed the video.